it is targeted for basically more towards pedagogy and teaching learning practices, as well as also. So really what we are trying to set emphasis on is techniques of teaching methods in context of modern day learning and learning environment. The evolution of technology has now introduced so many different dimensions in the learning process that definitely there is a need for re-looking at our strategies and approaches to effective learning and content delivery. So through these slides, I will share my views and share my thoughts with all of you to reflect on what can be effective pedagogy methods in context of state of the art in teaching learning processes. Before I go to that, I would like to emphasize the key aspects of these FDPs and what we expect from all the participants and faculty members while they are attending FDP and after they finish FDP. Through these FDPs, our core objective is to create a multiplier effect with the hope that the ultimate beneficiaries of all that we are doing, with all the support from our funding agencies, Government of India, MIT, is a hope and is an objective and is an expectation that this will create an impact in enhancing the overall knowledge, skills, and readiness of the students. So we are doing it for students. We want to make sure that it is the students who are ultimately getting reward or benefit out of your own knowledge upgradation, learning that happens in these FDPs. So I do want to make sure and encourage and appeal to all of you to please go back and think about this aspect and make sure that your learning ultimately transferred to the students in your own institute. We want to create an environment in which faculty members are empowered to shape future-ready graduates. And that can happen if we impart good foundational material or foundational learning to the students, but also at the same time, practical knowledge, skills, as well as also exposure in latest cutting edge technologies to make sure that these learners are ready for the future challenges. Some other aspects of FDP I already discussed. What's important also I want to highlight is that you can collaborate with E&ICT Academy, IIT Roorkee to organize fully funded faculty development programs in hub and spoke model. And I request you to please reach out to us if you are interested in organizing any one or more of programs in future also. As I also mentioned that we at E&ICT Academy IT Roorkee are doing other activities also, particularly aimed at organizing and running advanced PG certificate programs, which are specialized program for 4 to 6 months of duration, providing the learners with in-depth understanding of the subject matter, learning a content and learning a course which is of the same quality and standard that is being taught to master's students at IIT Roorkee and elsewhere. You will learn from our professors, and these courses also can be very useful to various kinds of learners, particularly the graduates or currently enrolled graduates, working professionals. The fees of the courses in this mode is really very, very nominal. And I do want to make sure that you appreciate this fact that you're getting a program which is almost like 1/4 of the standard fee available in other platforms. And do make sure to share it with your students or your colleagues or graduates or working professionals. So this is an excellent opportunity. Okay. Moving on, I want to also highlight a new paradigm in engineering education, which includes introduction of what people are now generally referring to as AI core. It's a common programming and AI course for all the engineering graduates. So at your institute, if you do not have it, I request faculty members to take a look at this particular aspect to introduce 2 to 3 courses which are compulsory for all branches of engineering, and it includes curriculum in providing enough foundation and exposure to fundamentals of AI, ML, and deep learning. So at IIT Roorkee, we actually are doing it. And if you look at the curriculum, various other universities, they are also doing it. And this being highly, highly relevant skill that students require in today's data-driven world and data-driven industries, the skills in properly handling data science, AI and machine learning is very vital, is crucial, and it cannot be stressed enough to ensure that the curriculum of any engineering institution has an AI core, which includes topics in data science, machine learning, and deep learning, including things like large language model, natural language processing, computer vision, and so on. Also, the pedagogy for delivery of these programs must also be having a balanced mix of hands-on learning along with theory. So the courses generally ought to be in a fashion which includes both theory and practice on an equal footing, giving equal amount of emphasis and time. So you could have 2 hours of theory with 2 hours of lab. You could have 1 hour theory with 2 hours of lab, and so on. So please do make sure to take a look at this as an integral part of engineering curriculum, having AI core, which includes 3 courses: data science and algorithms, data structures and algorithms, data science, and AI and machine learning. Okay, so moving on to pedagogy. Pedagogy as a whole is art and science of teaching, focusing on developing effective learning strategies, which mixes theory and practice to foster a holistic education. Our goal is to, or aim is to promote critical thinking, creativity, and innovation. The needs of today's learners are not the same as it was 20 years ago. And one of the key change that has occurred over last 10 years is available of content in diverse forms. What is being taught in a regular engineering institution in the form of lectures and classes, the material in various forms in better quality is available online, is available in a synchronous manner, it is available in asynchronous manner. Now, given this fact, where the students and the people know that I have access to content available online, which I'm going to learn in class, and maybe with a better presentation quality. How do we ensure that students stay motivated and they take interest in class and they utilize the time that is given to the classes in a effective manner? And this aspect is very crucial part of pedagogy. So how to ensure that the students are motivated, they take interest in class, and they are participating in a productive manner, and then practicing critical thinking, showing good creativity and innovation. Now, some of the core principles of pedagogy are learner-centered approach, where the education is tailored to suit the needs of the class by active participation, encouraging student-led initiatives, activities, active engagement, discussions, hands-on, making learning more interactive and memorable, and inclusivity by addressing cultural, linguistic, and socio-academic diversity. Because it's very important that students are participating, are staying active in class, participating in discussions, rather than simply are passive listeners, and the discussion and interaction is just from teacher to student. That definitely will not promote interest, creativity, and innovation. Some other important aspects of pedagogy are promoting peer-to-peer learning, group activity, group work, group projects, teamwork, building communication skills. Teacher need to be adaptable in incorporating flexibility in teaching methods, incorporate learning styles which suits preferences of class, and utilizes technology, creative approaches, and make use of new tools to enhance learning outcomes. Active learning is the foundational aspect of pedagogy. A strategy of content delivery where the teacher thinks about organizing his or her content delivery by ensuring that students participate in active learning process, by engaging the students and learners by critical thinking, discussion, investigation, practicing skills like problem solving, training in making right decisions, propose solution, and so on. All these are effective methods of promoting active learning processes by ensuring that the feedback is given in a timely manner to the quizzes and questions and problems that are given in the class, because there is plenty of evidence and research which has shown that incorporating these strategies significantly enhances the learning experiences in the students. So one word which is I want you to go and keep in mind, I'm sure that you already perhaps know it, to keep in mind is active learning. So when I engage with my students, I engage with my class, I should ask myself, am I doing methodologies? Is my approach promoting active learning process? Some of the strategies where you can promote this process is mentioned here in this slide. There are plenty of material is available. I do want you to make sure that at least you are aware of this and take some steps to practice some of these strategies, not all, at least one or two of them, by ensuring that students are actively involved in learning process, promoting higher level thinking, collaboration in with among themselves to discuss and solve problems. And some of the examples of active learning strategies could be think, pair, share, jigsaw activity, case studies, debates and discussions, and role playing, concept mapping, and so on. See, information and knowledge is out there. It is up to us as trainers to ensure that we are aware of these practices and we take effort to implement them in our classes and content delivery. The other aspect of pedagogy is student motivation, and this is equally important, if not more, as what I mentioned earlier in active learning. And the motivation can be improved, can be increased by a variety of methods. Some of the important aspects are ensuring that you are setting the goals right before beginning your session, lecture, or class or course, setting outcomes and expectations, uh, trying to be real life in your approach, giving as many practical examples as possible, give projects, build good relationship with students, be empathetic to students, also be a patient teacher itself, because these days the classes are big and sometimes you lose touch with the students. Students are creating various kind of issues plagiarism, unfair means, lack of interest, and so on. But by following at least few of these activity motivation tips, I'm sure that you can do better. Now, if you look at the teaching process and how great philosophers over a period of time have looked at the teaching itself, then you can see the contrast, and also you can see how a right pedagogy is important. In words of Socrates, you can see that he has highlighted uh, using approach in learning, approach in teaching, which makes students think. In Galileo's philosophy, or he has said that if you can create an approach which motivates a student to explore for himself or herself, that is one of the best pedagogy or teaching strategy. Albert Einstein has stressed need to provide environment in the class, set of conditions where the students are very active learners and they ask questions and explore. So you can see here the overall message being that it is an active learning process, tools and techniques where student is motivated to ask questions and explore is correct strategy to good pedagogy. And ensuring this is an important aspect and expectation from the teacher. Now, I will show you some of the important aspects that are being felt in teaching processes through the feedback from working professionals. So here you see there are about 50-60 professionals who were asked about the weakest link to the computing education as a whole, but it can be also translated to other disciplines. So, lack of good decision making ability is one very important gap area that was highlighted. Training of mind in good thinking ability is also very important aspect. And also good procedural knowledge of the subject is also very important. So these are the aspects which comes from following right sort of pedagogy. In the previous slide, the what you call reference was made to following some of the conditions which motivate the students to be active learner, to be motivated to explore him or herself. And this can be done if there are a variety of situations that happens when you actually deliver your content. So if you create a condition where there is an unexpected result, there is a question regarding evidence or choice, there are a variety of observations and absence of satisfactory answers from authority, assignment of a knowledge to higher level in a new context also generates a lot of interest, and engagement in discussion and engage reasoning is also very important for creating active forward learning experience. I also want to make sure that you know and also you appreciate the learners who are grown up, how do they learn and what they expect when they learn. Okay. So adult learners have to definitely know why they need to learn something. Now, this is also applicable to young learners also, but it is even more relevant for grown-up learners. We all are in business of teaching grown-up people. So ensuring that they are told why they need to learn something is very important. The grown-up learner also prefer and tend to learn more from experience methods like doing practical work, by exploring themselves, by training on something relevant in the form of hands-on. So experiential learning is very important to learning processes of adult. Also approach learning as a problem solving, and the learning happens best when topic is of immediate value. So these are the important aspects that need to be kept in mind when we go to or when we discuss about learning in grown up or in engineering education. So expectation from teacher then becomes to create the conditions or to inculcate the practices which promote experiential learning, learning based on problem solving, and connecting the content to something which is of value, particularly of immediate value, in order to ensure that there's a good interest in learning process, there's active learning as well as also motivation on the part of the class itself. Now, this is the table which has what do you call categorized various type of teaching methods in terms of their importance in a modern day class settings, particularly for engineering and IT education. And you can immediately see the top three are those areas which involves experiential learning, group projects, practical training, as well as also industrial training or practical internship is appreciated, is of higher value than routine lecture, seminar, and test and homeworks and so on. So when you look at this data, you will wonder that whether I should be actually giving lectures or not. Or should I change my approach and look at what methods I can adapt in this experiential learning processes. Now, here you can see that the so-called Bloom's taxonomy, which classifies learning objectives and cognitive processes in 6 levels of cognitive learning. And ultimately, all this is available, and some of you might know. But this classification provides the instructors with a focus for developing their core learning outcomes. And at the bottom of this pyramid is the building of the knowledge in your class or in your students, followed by understanding of the topic or subject matter, application to a practical problem or relevant topic, analysis, synthesis, and evaluation. Now, this is very important also in terms of the students who expect and think that what works best for them in learning, design, analysis, understand, build, and apply is something which is a very important aspect in the learning. Let me also briefly discuss and mention how the modern day IT tools and practices are transforming and are available to the instructors and teachers to make the learning more interactive, to make learning more active process, and to motivate your learners, to motivate your students. So variety of tools that are available in making quizzes, interactive quizzes, assessment, gamification of the learning through the tools like quiz, collaboration tool for brainstorming, project management, facilitation, etc. are available online. One example is Miro. There are tools for proctored online exams. And these are all very important and powerful tools if we start to incorporate in our content delivery. It will not only simplify or make job easier for instructor, but also at the same time motivate the student to participate in active learning process. Various tools are available for assessment and particularly real-time classroom engagement, feedback to assess the understanding and provide immediate support. You are so creative. There might be others. I have just put one or two examples. Canva and Prezi for creating very attractive and visually appealing presentations, enriching your educational material, enhancing engagement and comprehension. Some of the methods that can be followed are workshops, case studies, e-learning, various hands-on practice, role-playing. All these are actually very effective tools for good content delivery. The training methods can be classified into two or three aspects. First and foremost is experiential learning in the form of hands-on projects, fieldwork, internship, gamifying the learning by incorporating some fun game-oriented elements which can boost engagement, motivate student, and also help to retain the knowledge that they gain during the class. There are various forms of delivery methods these days. You have blended learning, you have synchronous learning, you also have other learning which I'll come to in a while. So in blended learning, you have mix of online and in-person teaching to enhance flexibility. Synchronous learning is the best in the form of real-time classroom fostering interaction, immediate feedback, and sense of community. There are other methods like asynchronous learning and hybrid learning. Now, depending upon the situation, you could adopt one or more of these methods. And in today's scenario, it turns out that something which is hybrid, combining strength of online and offline learning, offers best solution because it caters to the needs of the learner, adapting to the expectation and also honoring time of the learner, offering flexibility and maximizing the outcome by personalizing learning. There are various tools and platforms which are available online. Now, massively open online courses is very popular these days, MOOCs, and MOOCs offer better, greater accessibility effectiveness in cost, and wide range of courses from renowned institutions are available. And I would suggest that we try to incorporate MOOCs in our content delivery in our courses, because if the content is available online, why not utilize it and then spend time more effectively by performing experiential learning in your own class. So give them projects, assignments, group works, and so on, while at the same time letting them learn from MOOCs platforms. Variety of MOOCs platforms are available. We have very popular platform in India called NPTEL. There are others also, including also E&ICT academies. Many of the courses, short courses and workshops, as well as FDPs are also available in a recorded forms in some of the E&ICT academies. So you can take a look at all these platforms and maximize the outcomes by use of MOOCs. Managing the class these days, classes are generally big, and expect uh, some freedom in terms of attending the classes and conducting online quizzes and so on. We have dedicated learning management systems like Canva, like Google Classroom, like Teams. One of the very popular and open source system is called Moodle, and it offers features like quiz, assignment submission, grade tracking, and so on. Moodle also is very scalable and can be customized. So you can take a look at Moodle next time if you need to have LMS in your content delivery. Now, it also comes with challenges. Modern education has its own unique challenges. I will touch upon some of them and give you heads up as to what to expect going forward. The first very important challenge in education is engagement. Motivating the learners, ensuring that they stay tuned to the class. Educators need to foster a sense of purpose, relevance in their teaching. So, motivation can be achieved if you set the outcomes, objectives, and expectation before you begin your content, before you begin your session. Because once students see some reward which is connected to their interest, you will see more motivation. And following the strategies in the form of interactive teaching, real world applications can also increase student interest. Also, praising, building good rapport, giving group work assignments, planning, and engaging the students in some of the aspects of teaching process can also help. Other important aspect in education is skill gap. Now, what has happened over a period of time is that as the industry evolves and newer technologies get introduced very fast, and they also become old very soon. So cycle time of a technology is hardly 5 years, maybe less than that. So how do we as teachers and institutes ensure that my content is relevant for industry, my content is of interest to the students, and I'm training and skilling the students ready to absorb industry. So skilling gap is very important aspect. And this can be done by aligning the training and the curriculum with the evolving needs of industry and society. We as institution must evolve and adopt the changes very fast, make a content relevant for industry, and ensure that you are able to, at least in addition to the foundational learning, able to provide the students with the content which is of industry value. Emphasis must also be placed on practical skill and problem solving to give the students that critical knowledge and skills that they require to survive in industry. Accessibility is another important aspect because we always have this issue of digital divide, and equal access to technology and resources is very crucial to ensure that equal opportunities are available. And in this particular aspect, there is a huge role that can be played by the online learning process. So use of MOOCs, use of various other resources can be very effective in dividing and bridging the digital divide that is present today. The second aspect is ensuring to promote practices and strategies of inclusivity, and this requires solutions that caters to the needs of all learners. We are not teaching one, two, or few students. We are not running sessions and content for few. We are trying to cater to all the variety of learners that are present in your session class, and it is very important for us to adopt the strategies of inclusivity in our sessions. Motivating students and developing interest in topic can also be actually very nicely done through building very good rapport with students. And that can be done if you can have good trust in class. Open in communication is important. Building supportive and respectful environment is essential in building trust. And as a teacher or as an instructor, we are expected to be active listeners also. By actively listening to students' demand, having empathy for them, and giving them a feedback which can help them to overcome the challenges can be very useful for building rapport and understanding student perspective. Building trust and open communication is very important, and effort must be made to make sure the students are comfortable, they are safe to express themselves. There is no punishment in terms of if somebody expresses his or her thoughts openly, and students are encouraged to share their ideas and perspective with the teacher. One other important aspect of learning is providing real-time feedback through use of technology and use of technology in performance tracking, because regular feedback can help the student not only correct the course, but can be very effective in also generating interest in the class by performing or conducting variety of quizzes, interactive exercises, feedback session, etc. Using technology for assessing, use of online platform can be very effective in monitoring student behavior and progress also. Now, we as instructors and teachers are also expected to be innovative. Equipping the educators and inspiring the students is an important aspect, and use of cutting edge tools and methodologies to enhance learning efficiency is very important. Second, other important aspect is constant continuous professional development. We have to learn new topics. We need to do these kind of FDPs, maybe read papers, and encourage to explore new resources, attend workshop and networking, etc., is equally important part of embracing innovations in teaching learning practices. Finally, I would like to leave you with this slide of a message, which is how to shape future by cultivating critical thinkers and innovators, inspire students to think critically, challenge conventional thinking, foster a learning environment where students are encouraged to question assumptions, explore diverse perspectives, and develop their own solutions. Students be innovative and provide opportunities for students to experiment and design and create. Build a collaborative ecosystem by encouraging partnerships between educators, parents, communities, and create a holistic environment which support students' growth and development and fosters culture of critical thinking and innovation. I hope that through these ideas, I have shared some of important aspects with you, and it will go motivate you to think more and explore more. And with this, I would like to conclude my session. And I do look forward to any comments or suggestions, as well as also if anybody has any question, I'll be very happy to take. Any questions?
No questions.
There is no question right now, sir.
Okay, there are no questions. Thank you very much for your patient hearing, and I hope that this was of some use to you, and we do look forward to your suggestions at the end of the course also. And any feedback you want to share will be most welcome. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir. So we will start the next session at 7 p.m.